Hello, welcome to episode 360. We're going to be doing some interactive custom ceiling lights because more lights is more good. We're in version 1.19.4. We've got ourselves an egg, so as the map developer, you can just go around, pop down some lights, however you like. There we go. And if you think, oh, I don't like that light there, you can remove the light. No problem. And they're interactive, so you can turn them off and you can turn them on. They do work. Let's do time set. They'd be pretty rubbish if they didn't work, wouldn't they? Time set night. So if we turn them off, it's dark. And we can turn them off to get the light. Or we turn them on to get the light, rather. Anyway, there we go. Let's not waffle, because I'll probably do some more of that later. Let's just get on and build it now. Okay, first thing we're going to need is a dummy scoreboard to save whether the light is on or off. So each light can have its own score, and it'll know then whether it's on or off. So that's going to be quite nice and easy. Scoreboard objectives, add, and we'll call it light state, because it's the state of the light. And it's a dummy. Okay, done. Oh, we're going to need a ceiling as well. Because we're making ceiling lights, let's make a ceiling to put them on. Okay, my light's going to go on this lovely little ceiling that I've built here. Right. How are we going to get the lights up there? Well, we're going to use eggs. We'll have a place egg. This is going to be... Oh no, the eggs are quite nice. The place egg controller is going to be the long command. We'll get to that in a minute. First, we're going to give nearest player his place. I always use slime, so I know green for go, red for stop. Slime, spawn, egg. You can give it a name. In the commands in the description, I'll show a name. But I'm just going to do an entity tag. Okay. I think, did we get two of them? No, we didn't. There we go. That needs an ID. I don't want to summon a spawn. I want to summon a Minecraft marker. And I need it to have some tags so I can target it later. And we'll call it light place. And I'm going to copy all of that. Copy. And we're going to pop it in here. Give egg. Remove. Done. Pop that in there. This one is going to be light. Remove. And I'm going to have a different colour egg. As I say, I use red, so I'm going to have a strider egg. Okay, done. So I've got my two little eggs for placing and removing things now. Now let's make the controllers. So, controller for placing the light. Right. Controller for place. Let's start simple. We will execute at any entity whose type equals marker, whose tag equals light place. I will run set block at those coordinates into a light block. By default, I'm going to have my light turned on. So we'll say a light with a level of 15. Okay, done. Let's make a little reset so we can do some testing as we go. That's not what I wanted to do. A temporary reset. Let's kill any entity, and I'm just going to say type equals marker. Obviously, you don't want to do this on your map if you've got other markers, but this is just for my testing purposes. Done. So let's turn that on, and let's get that, and let's just slap it up there. Boom. Now we can't see anything. So is there a marker there? I think we'll do another little testing here as well. Show markers. Let's execute at any entity whose type equals marker. Run particle. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. At those coordinates, quite small on the X, Y, and the Z. No speed, particle count of 1. Done. Turn it on. Okay, so it is there. Now, did it spawn our light block? Well, if we give ourselves a light block, there it is. Cool. Okay, so that bit seemed to work. Right. Now let's kill that marker. Okay, and that didn't kill the light, it just happened to disappear at the same time. Okay, now let's do the long command. We will execute at any entity whose type equals marker, whose tag equals light place, and we will run summon an interaction at those coordinates. We're going to have to do some changes to some of this stuff later, but we'll make it up as we go along. Tags. We're going to have two tags. It is going to be part of the light system, so we're going to give it light, and it will be light base. Okay. If I punch it, I want a response. I want my arm to move, so I want response true. I'm going to want to give it a width later, so we'll do a width. Just set it to 1 for now, and I want a height, which we'll just set for 1 for now as well. And I'm going to want some passengers. List of passengers, I want 1, 2 passengers. Okay. For the moment, I'm just going to say done. And I'm going to get another block, put it on the end, and I'm going to kill any entity whose type equals marker, whose tag equals light place. Otherwise, since this is executing at the light place marker, we'll just constantly summon these. We don't want that. Right. Bang. Nothing happens. Okay. So first thing, let's put our light block in our hand. So it made a light. Okay, let's break that. That will fade slowly now. And second thing, let's do F3 and B. And there's our interaction entity. Okay, cool. Now, type marker. Let's change this from type marker, because the marker's killing itself now. We've got a command for that. And we'll just say tag equals light. So that's going to kill that interaction entity. Cool. Okay, let's make it look a bit nicer. Right, we've got 2 passengers. Let's do them. First passenger, ID. I'm going to have, it's a block display. So ID block display. I think we might have to say, we'll put Minecraft anyway just to be safe. Minecraft block display. Okay, we want to tag this as well. Tags is going to be part of the light. So we'll have to tag light. And yes, now our reset command will kill this as well. And it's going to be the casing for the light, the surround. So let's just put casing, just in case we want to target it separately. Okay, I don't think we do, but okay, after that, what do we want it to look like? A block state. Block state takes a name. And I'm going to go for, what's it called? It's chiseled. Chisel, I should have picked an easy. Polished. Blackstone. I think that might be alright. Chiseled, polished, blackstone. Okay. And we need some transformation information. But let's check out what this does. Cool. Okay, our interaction's there. And our block is there. Looks awful. Let's get rid of them. Okay. First thing, let's put the default transformation information in. So transformation, open and close curlies, and we'll have the left. I always do that with rotation. Left rotation, default 0F, 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 1F. I'm going to have the right rotation 0F, 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 1F. This would be much quicker if we didn't have to put all of these in each time. Translation. Put the defaults in for now. 0F, 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 and scale. and the default's 1F, 1F, 1F. Now, all of that is default, so if we do this again, we should see no difference. Yeah, exactly the same. Okay. Right, let's change it from being default. Now we've got a separate passenger there. You can see his little square bracket, his little curly brackets waiting for the passenger. We're just going to leave that empty for now. Let's change this thing. I want it to be smaller, so I'm going to do it scale. So I don't want to, I'm going to go for 0.6. 0.6, so it's a 0.6 square. And I think for height, I'm going to go for 0.1. Okay. Now I want to center it on the block. If the scale was 1, we want to divide that by 2, so get half of it. So if the scale was 1, we would do minus 0.5, which is half of 1. But our scale is 6, so half of 6 minus 0.3. I've got a mistake somewhere. We'll find that. I can see it already. So minus 0.3 minus 0.3. Let's fix this mistake. We've got, there we go. What about, we're going to have to lift it up as well. I think we'll lift it up. Actually, let's just check what we've got now. Let's check what we've got now. Okay, look at it. Okay, well, we've got the 0.6. That's working. Okay, let's do its scale is 1. That's what I wanted to change. Let's put 0.1. Okay, run it again. Okay, right now we can see that we need to lift him up. He's at the bottom, we want him at the top. In fact, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the whole lot up. So I'm going to go right back to the beginning. And I'm going to summon it up in the air. My whole light is going to be 0.2 wide. 0.1 for the casing, 0.1 for the bulb. So 0.2 plus 0.8 equals a whole block. Cool. He's not quite high enough yet. We'll move him separately. And our interaction entity is too big, so we're going to have to change the size of that. Interaction entity, where is your width and height? Width, we're just going to make it a little bit bigger than the casing, so 0.61. And the height we'll do 0.2. Done. Let's try this now. That's looking better already. Okay, now we need to lift the casing up by itself. So we'll do that in its translation. We'll lift it up by 0.1, I think would probably be enough. Perfect. Okay. We've got our interaction sitting there waiting. It's a little bit too wide because remember our bulb is going to go underneath. That looks good. Okay, let's get our bulb. That's going to be our next passenger. So ID will be a Minecraft block display. It's going to have some tags. Now this one we do want to target by itself because we need to change the bulb when it goes on and off. So we'll have 2 tags. One will be light and the other one, we'll just call it bulb since that's what it is. Bulb. Yeah, that looks all right. I'll need a block state for it. Block state. This needs a name. And I'm going to use a redstone lamp. Now, if we do this now, I reckon what's going to happen is we're just going to have a massive redstone lamp. Yeah, okay, and it's offset. So we're going to need translation information, obviously. Cool, so we need to shrink him down, make him a bit smaller than the casing. So we'll start just by putting the defaults in. So after block state, yeah. And it wasn't lit. I want mine to be lit by default. Actually, so let's put some properties in here. Properties, lit, true. Okay, let's test that. Cool, he's lit this time. Excellent. Okay, now let's do some transformation information. So we make sure we're not in block state. So block state, open 1 curly bracket. Properties, open 2 curly brackets. close 1, close 2. So here, transformation, curlies, and the old annoying left rotation. 0f, 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 1f. Right. Stop it. Rotation. Oh my god, I've made all the mistakes there. Right rotation, 0f, 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 1f. Translation, we will need to change this. For now, just put the defaults in, 0f, 0f, 0f. And scale. Okay, defaults first, 1f, 1f, 1f. Okay, so I want this to be smaller than the casing. Casing was 0.6, so I'm going to have this at 0.5 on the X and Z. Now, our translation has to be half of that, so our translation is going to be minus 0.25 and minus 0.25. I will do 0.05 for its scale, and I'll do a translation. No, actually, I'll do 0.05 for its translation, and its scale, because that'd be too small for the scale. The scale we'll do is 0.2. Okay, let's find out. Ah, looks all right, actually. There we go, and the interaction entity is just poking out the bottom. Cool. Okay, I would say light done. Placing lights done. Right. That's probably the worst command, which we should be all quite simple from now on. I say that now, but I guarantee you we're going to make some mistakes. Fingers crossed we won't. Right, controller for remove. Okay, so I'm going to be using my egg on the bottom. I can't use it on the interaction because it won't count. It'll just treat it as me interacting. I can use it on the side though. That's okay. So I think I'm going to execute at any entity whose type equals marker, whose tag equals light remove, and we'll do run set block air. So we've got rid of the light block. It's not producing light anymore. And I'll just copy this beginning bit as well. Home, copy, point, and put that in there. Now, here we have a little bit of a problem. Right, so let's pretend our light is there. The marker is down here. So I can't execute at the marker. I need to go at the marker and up a bit. So I reckon if we execute at the marker and then do positioned, and we'll just go up about 0.8. That should be enough. So we're executing at the marker, which sits at the bottom of the block, and then we're doing positioned from there up 0.8. Yeah, that should work. And what we'll do is we'll run kill any entity whose tag equals light, whose distance equals less than a quarter of a block. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and then we'll remove kill any entity whose type equals marker, whose tag equals light remove. Done. So let's hold a light block. Oh, okay, so we can definitely see there's a light there. Cool. Right, let's get a remove egg. Turn that on. And let's try and get rid of this thing. So that should fade. There we go. That seemed good. Right, there's no markers, otherwise they'd be displayed by this, because that is executing at any marker. So markers have gone. Let's hold the light block. No light blocks appearing. So it definitely seems to be working. Let's check to make sure we only kill the one we want. The distance is okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that all seems good. Right, so we can place them and we can remove them. Let's put a couple back. There we go. Now we're going to need a controller. First thing I'm going to do is just make sure my light state has been created. There we go. Oh, okay, right. This is going to be the main controller. Main. So I'd imagine when you're making the map, you have these two turned on, so you can place them all where you want. And then when you finish making the map, you just turn these off, because the player's not going to have these eggs. They're just going to be interacting with the lights. Right. Or unless you don't want them to be able to interact with the lights, in which case, job done. You're finished. But let's do some interaction. It's more interesting. Right, the first thing I want to do is I want to tag any interaction entity that has been interacted with and reset that interaction. And we can do all that with one command. So we can do execute as any entity whose type equals interaction, whose tag equals, and I'm sure we called it light base, at yourself. And we're going to store success. We're going to type badly. We're going to store success onto the entity, that interaction, into its interaction.player array as an integer with a scale of 0. So if the command we're going to check in a minute is successful, we're going to times it by 0 and get 0 and store a 0 there. If it's not successful, we'll do exactly the same. So this is going to reset the interaction. Now we're going to do on target. So it's only going to work if the interaction entity actually has a target. And then we're going to do run. We're going to tag any entity. And remember, we're executing at the entity. So we can now do type equals interaction. Now we can't do at s because we've got on target, and that's moved the s to the person who interacted. That's why we're doing it this way. Type interaction, tag equals light base, and we'll do distance equals less than 0.1. And we'll have a limit of 1. And we're going to add the tag. Well, I suppose switch me. That sounds good. Switch me. Okay. So if I click on that, it's going to have the tag switch me. Now we can use that tag to do something to it. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to toggle its light state. So I can execute at any entity whose type equals interaction, whose tag equals switch me. In fact, we want to execute as. We don't actually care where it is, but we do want to do something to it. So we better say as. And we're going to store success as a score for that entity in its light state score if score for that entity light state matches 0. So what we're doing, if light state matches 0, this command will be successful and we are storing a success. So we will store a 1 into light state. Next time it runs, light state doesn't equal 0. This command is not successful and we'll store a 0 into light state. So we're toggling light state. Now if we ran that now, we would find that it would probably go not 1, not 1, not 1 very, very quickly. So let's put on the end. Actually, let's put nothing on the end. Let's just check to see if that does do that. Scoreboard objectives, set display to the sidebar, light state. And let's click on this thing. Let's turn this on and click on it. Yeah, not 1, not 1, not 1. Okay, so pop down a block and we will tag any entity whose type equals interaction, tag equals switch me, remove switch me. Done. Always helpful if you spell things correctly. Done. So it's on 0. I right click, 1, 0, 1, 0. So on, off, on, off, on, off. Cool, that's working. We can remove that from the sidebar now. And I'll take a screenshot for no reason. I was trying to press F3 and D to clear the chat. Okay, I'm going to clear up a bit of space in here. Let's get rid of all of this and keep the X though. Right. Now, if light state equals 1, if I'm turning it on, I want to play a sound. I want to change what it looks like. It's on at the moment. And I want to set the block so we get rid of that light block. Okay, well, we could do off first. Let's do off first. It doesn't really matter. Let's copy this, but that's 3 things I want to do. So I'm going to leave 1, 2, 3. I'm going to leave 3 spaces, and we'll just check that I copied properly. Yeah. And we'll get rid of that. And we'll have 1, 2, 3 blank empty ones. I'm going to execute at any entity whose type equals interaction, whose tag equals switch me, and whose scores equals, well, we're going to turn it off first, so light state equals 0. If your light state equals 0, then what do we want to do? Well, we'll play a sound. Play sound. Oops. Run. Play sound. I think the button click will do. So that's a block stone button, and we're turning it off. So click off. Yeah. Which channel? I'll play it on the master channel for all players. At the coordinates. Volume. I'm going to turn it down. We'll have quarter volume. Normal pitch, and minimum volume is 0. Okay, so we'll play a sound, and I'm also going to go to the beginning here and copy all of this beginning bit all the way up before run. Okay, so we've played a sound. Now, what we've got, execute at type equals interaction, tag equals switch me, scores light state equals 0. We will data modify an entity, any entity whose type equals block display, whose tag equals bulb, whose distance equals less than 0.1 and a limit of 1. I'm going to change your block state. I'm going to set it to a value. The value I'm going to set it to is going to be name, and we'll just put redstone lamp. Now, if off is default, we probably don't need to set a property, so we'll leave that for now. Done. Next one, same beginning. Execute at type equals interaction, tag equals switch me, scores equals light state equals 0. And we will run set block at those coordinates. Now we could set a block light level equals 0, or we could just set air. Done. Okay. F3. Now, let me get myself a light block, just so we can check we've got one there. There it is. Okay, right. I hate the way it takes so long to fade away. It's really annoying. Go fade away now. Go on. Okay. So if I click on this, nothing. Off. Okay. On. Off. We're getting the click from the off. On. Nothing. Off. Okay. Right. So let's do the on bit. Let's get rid of those. We'll keep that for testing later. So we need 1, 2, 3. We need the same again, but for on. So let's control middle mouse. The reset. We'll have 1, 2, 3, and then put you down. Check the command is in there. Yes, it is. Okay. And let's just copy all this stuff we just did. Let's control middle mouse all 3 of these and put them down. 1, 2, 3. Now this time I'm going to just say if light state is 1, we're turning it on, then play the on sound. And this one is going to be, again, scores, light state equals 1. redstone lamp. So unlit seems to be the default. So this time we're going to actually have to say properties lit true. Done. And this one, we just say 1, and we put the light block back. Light with a level of whatever level you want. 15 is what I'm using. Done. I feel that that's everything. On, off, on, off. Okay, let's do a nighttime test. Time set. Let's get surrounded by mobs. Okay, definitely off. On. Oh, it's nice. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's check they don't interfere with each other. They're all on. Let me get rid of these. And let's do F3B. There we go. That's much nicer. Okay, they're all on. Off, off, off. And it goes dark. Yeah. Perfect. I think we're done. I think I'm going to go back to daytime though. Don't like being surrounded by all that stuff. Cool. So, and now you've made your map. You just turn these ones off because you don't need them. The player only needs the controller so they can interact with them. Okay. There we go. We have successfully made ourselves some interactive custom ceiling lights. It's always nice to have more lighting options. This way you could build almost anything you liked. I've just kept quite a simple design. You don't have to use redstone lamps. I like them because they have that property where you can say lit true or not. Instead of actually changing the block state property, you could have 2 completely different blocks. I mean, you could use wool if you wanted. And you could just, I can't even search. You could just say when it's off, it's red, it shows red wool. And when it's on, it shows green wool. Or actually, I suppose lime and green would probably work. So that would be off. And that would be on. That would work. So up to you what block you want to use, really. There we go. I'm just waffling at the end, aren't I? Okay, I've kept you for long enough. I will see you next time. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye bye.